Hey guys, this is Matt reporting for the Sin Bin. Now, right off the bat, you might realize I'm filming with my phone. I don't have my classical blue background, and the reason why that is because I forgot my laptop charger at my work site, so my laptop's out of batteries. So for the time being, I'm going to be filming with my phone, at least for this video. The reason why I still went on with the video nevertheless is because you guys may have heard about the news involving Shea Weber and that his injury may be a little bit more worrisome than some may have suspected. So I really wanted to put out my thoughts out there. So forgive me if the camera is shaking, as you guys might see. Forgive me if I'm sort of all over the place. I just really wanted to put out my raw emotions. And if you guys follow me on Twitter at the Sinbin1996, shameless little plug there, you may have seen that I retweeted a tweet from Nick Kypreos, and he said that the injury to Shea Weber, it might not only be season ending, it might be career ending. I don't know much specifics about the injury itself. I heard that there's a lot of swelling in that ankle, that same ankle that's been causing him problems all these years with the Montreal Canadiens. And swelling, that's never a good sign. I mean, it could mean anything at this point. It could be, fluid accumulation. It could be inflammation. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to guess. All I know is that from what I hear from the hockey pundits, Nick Kypreos being one who's usually reliable, I remember he put out that PK Subban won the Norris Trophy like way before the awards, and he ended up winning it. So he's a pretty credible source. And when he says that Shea Weber's career is in jeopardy, I take that heavily. I take that with a lot of credibility. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. And obviously, it's a huge blow. Shea Weber, I wasn't much of a fan of him when he came to Montreal, and I think that the reason why that maybe is because I was such a big PK Subban fan. God, I hate filming with a phone. I can see how fat my face is and everything, but I was such a big PK Subban fan, so it kind of hurt me seeing him leave, and I feel like a 12-year-old girl. I took out all of that hurt and all of that pain onto Shea Weber, which I shouldn't have because as the years went along, and I'll admit I'm wrong, I've said it many times before. If I'm wrong about something, I'll admit it. I think that Shea Weber, we ended up winning that trade. And he's transformed into one of the elite defensemen in this league. He's always been pretty much an elite defenseman in this league. There's a reason why when there's the Olympics, I hope the NHL goes to the Olympics this year. There's a reason why Shea Weber's on the roster and PK Subban is probably benched, is because he's such a reliable player. He's a leader. He's been there. He's done that. With all that being said, though, that's a good segue because Shea Weber is getting up there in age. And he's not just like a Nicholas Lidstrom getting old. He's not just like a, whoever it may be. These are extremely hard miles because of his physical play, because of his physical nature. The comparison I brought upon Nicholas Lidstrom, I wasn't really born when he was in his prime, but I don't know if he had the same playing style as Shea Weber, where he was hitting, where he was fighting, where he was blocking shots. So that doesn't really encourage longevity in this league. And it would pain me to see Shea Weber go out this way. I really wanted to see him at least sniff a Stanley Cup, if not with the Montreal Canadiens, then with another team. Because if his career does end as of today, which I certainly hope not, knock on wood, he's going to go down as one of those great players like Joe Thornton or Eric Lindros to have never won a cup. So I think I'm stating the obvious here when we say we want to see Shea Weber play. We don't want to see him sideline. I gotta say, I'm a little bit skeptical about the Canadiens medical staff. Maybe this was something that was out of their control. I really don't know what the prognosis was, but the fact that he had operation, this injury just seems to be reoccurring and reoccurring and reoccurring, and it seems like the medical staff can't nip it in the bud. And I really hope if Shea Weber were to come back, I really hope I don't have to hear about another ankle injury because at this point, you need to fix it, guys. I know it's easier said than done. Why don't I just do it? I get it. But at this point, it's a little bit worrisome that every time he's sidelined, it's not like a wrist injury. It's not an upper body. It's always that damn ankle. And God, it's really frustrating. Now, what does this mean for the Canadiens moving away from Shea Weber? what does this mean to the Canadians? Well, obviously, if you were to be placed on long-term injury reserve, which is probably what it's looking towards, I actually learned this today. I was making a video on my bold trade deadline predictions. If a player gets injured and he's put on just normal injury reserve, his money, his salary still counts towards the cap. However, if it's a long-term injury, that salary will not count towards the cap. So I predict this to be a pretty long-term injury. I expect the Canadian to put him on long-term IR. So that 7 million that Shea Weber was making, that gets cleared up. What I want to see the Canadians do, because if you're, by the way, if you're missing Shea Weber, who's your best defenseman without a doubt, the playoffs are looking bleak. I really hope this solidifies the idea that Marc Bergevin needs to sell at the trade deadline, because how are you going to make it without Shea Weber? They barely made it without Jonathan Drouin, and Shea Weber's in a whole different ballpark. So this completely changes the narrative, in my opinion. I think that Marc Bergevin's a complete bonehead if he thinks he still has a chance to make in the playoffs. So back to what I was saying about the salary, that 7 million that's cleared up, I want to see a lot of Joel Armia type deals. That means taking on some bad contract, relieving those teams that maybe want to make a few moves at the trade deadline, and maybe get a few prospects in the process. Why not? If this injury is as bad as it's going to get, why not do that? And this might sound extremely selfish, so I apologize in advance, but one of the most underrated moves by Marc Bergevin in his whole tenure with the Montreal Canadiens, it was trading Andrew Shaw. I said it at the time when they traded Andrew Shaw. I said, I know it hurts, and I know that maybe a second round pick, that's not necessarily his value, but Andrew Shaw is one bad hit away from never playing in the NHL again. Shea Weber is one blocked shot away from never playing in the NHL again. Say if he were to come back, he takes one more shot on that foot, he's done. So selfishly enough, I'll admit this is extremely selfish. I would like to sort of see what Marc Bergevin did with the Andrew Shaw trade. Trade away Shea Weber, maybe get a few assets in the process, get some draft picks, because you don't want to see this guy go down and you miss out on all of that. You don't get any value in return. So that's sort of my opinion. I know this video was kind of all over the place. Again, I said it was going to be really raw. I'm in my hotel room, so that explains the environment behind me. But please let me know what you guys think about the Shea Weber injury. Do you guys think it's going to be long-term? Do you guys think it's going to be career-ending? Do you guys think the Canadians still have a shot to make the playoffs without Shea Weber? I'm excited to find out. I'll be watching the Canadiens-Bruins game tonight. I'll definitely be tweeting, so make sure to add me on Twitter at thesinbin1996. And if not, make sure to check my prior videos and join the Discord link where we talk hockey. We have a lot of great fun. And if you like this video and you like the Habs, stay tuned on Sundays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. We will talk about the Habs on the Habsnation podcast. I definitely have my starting topic today, Again, I apologize for my fat fucking face. I apologize for my spit lines. And without further ado, my name is Matt. Keep your stick on the ice.